Hello, hello, and happy Pride Month, y'all. I hope everyone's had a great start to their Pride Month. I have already had a big kickoff to mine. I am streaming every day over on Twitch this month to raise money for the Trevor Project. And I wanted to start off with one of my first streams being to do this trans tiny home. And I know that cottage living comes with some cute pink and blue swatches, so I thought it would work really well to do something that's more cottagecore energy. So I want to just start off by saying that this was a feat and that we set a record last night for me and my community, and that I did an entire build in one stream, which I know sounds very, very dumb probably to some of y'all who are like, Sim streamers do this all the time, Matthew, why can't you? Well, I am very detail oriented with my builds and very much a maximalist whenever I build in The Sims. And so I like to take my precious sweet time on every single build because I want it to be something when I upload it that I'm just like, boom, this is something I'm very, very proud of. I love the way this turned out. I think this is one of the best builds ever, just something with that type of energy. And so as you can see here, that ended up not being the case for this shell because I actually eventually bulldozed the lot and start over. But I am really proud of this achievement. So let me have my moment here. But I did want to go ahead and mention again, I said that I'm raising money for the Trevor Project, so I wanted to take a minute just to highlight what that is. So if you're unfamiliar with them, they provide suicide prevention services for LGBTQ plus youth. And so I wanted to raise money. I thought this was the perfect time of year to do this. And unfortunately, given the current administration, they have currently pulled all funding for LGBTQ plus suicide prevention measures that we have. And so it's now more important than ever. Not that it was never not that important, but even more so important to try and raise money for nonprofits and organizations that lend themselves and try to help LGBTQ plus youth, particularly in these circumstances. So I just highly encourage you all to donate if you can. I have the donation and the campaign link below, and then I'd love to have you join in on the streams over on Twitch. We've been having a lot of fun. I have a lot of milestones set up. We've already hit 2 milestones. We've raised over $300. So thank y'all so much so far for what y'all have given. And even if it's just $1, y'all, like that helps so much. And even if you can't donate, if you can share the campaign, share the donation links, put the word out there, or just even be there for the streams, that helps so much. Y'all can't imagine how much that helps. So thank y'all so much for the support. And whenever you go to donate, you can also see some fun rewards that I have to send y'all. You can even enter to win a free expansion pack of your choosing if you donate $5. So I have a lot of fun things set up for this month, a lot of fun builds in place. So I hope you stick around for it and would love to see you hang out over on Twitch. So to get into the build, as I said, I bulldozed the first shell. It just wasn't vibing. I was struggling coming up with the floor plan and thinking through the roofing. I was just like, this isn't going to work. So I just bulldozed the whole thing. And so I put this nice little custom pink pergola on the front porch instead of having a roof there because I just thought it was really cute vibe. And I'm putting this custom stone pathway. Whenever I think of cottages, I always think of like windy paths, not something that's just like a straight sidewalk up to the front door. So I wanted to do something really cutesy with that. And I think these little stones that we got from Riviera Retreat work really well for these types of pathways that we do. And so I wanted to use the pink pergola kind of vibe, and then I put pink shutters on the middle part at the top, but on the bottom I have the blue shutters. That's just because we don't get pink with the cottage living windows, but we do have pink with the horse ranch shutters, and it still lent to the same vibes and matched the energy. So I was like, why not? Now I know some of y'all are going to point out like I have the windows backwards on the bottom floor. Trust me, I know I would prefer it to be the other way where the shutters are facing more the outside of the shell or the sides of the home. I couldn't do it because the shutters would clip pretty bad with the columns there and stick out actually further than the side of the house. And it just looked a little weird. I did not like the vibe of it. And I was trying to keep the windows a bit more centered with the dormers that we have on both sides, the little mini dormers. And that was more what I prioritized. I added this cute little chimney though to the back of it just to lend a little more dimension because we have that weird little bump out on the side and the back, and that was it. And I was like, I have to do something. So I was like, what if I put a fireplace in the living space and then we can actually have a chimney. Now what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to figure out the floor plan. So you can see me like moving walls, like stretching them out, pulling them back in, trying to see what I can do because the floor plan wasn't vibing again. I loved the shape of the house, but it just wasn't working. So what I did was I took that bump out from the front door and actually just pushed it in so it's a flat front so I could extend the side of the house so we could have a more dedicated bedroom space. because what I was going to do was more like a studio vibe where it's open bedroom to the living space and not have any walls basically. But I really, really wanted a dedicated bedroom space. So I got it. I figured it out. It took us a while. It took me a while, but we got there. So as you can see here, I was trying to do the double windows, but whenever you look at it from the top, it looked really awkward because it just isn't centered with those dormers, and those dormers were staying. Like they were staying, they were the vibe, I wanted that. Now, when it came to the kitchen here, it was kind of a no-brainer to do the country kitchen cabinets because they're pink. They had pink and blue, but the blue has a brown countertop and the trans flag is pink, white, and blue. So I did not want brown. I focus a lot on white being the neutral color. And I know for a cottage that might be a little weird because usually when we think of cottages, we think of like warmer tones, brown tones, things like that. But I think this turned out to be really fun and light and like just more vibrant in a way and more lively in different ways. But I wanted to have a pop of blue, so I did blue for the appliances in the kitchen. And then this whole sofa thing was a whole fiasco with the living space. I wanted to use this sofa so badly from Secret Sanctuaries, but it is just too dang long. It took up way too much space. It would have been hard to walk around. It went into the kitchen space a little bit by the time I got it pulled away from the wall on the other side because I still had to put 2 doors there. And so I just went with the high school years couch here. Nice small couch. It still has some pillows, some fun energy to it. And then I love this floral seat that we have over by the fireplace. And I put some cross stitching and knitting for that area. And I just think that's more the vibes for the cottage energy. Now, with all the light colors we have going on, I did want to bring some color to the wallpapers in the room. And so what you can see here in the living room is I did the like colored, cream colored wainscoting on the bottom part, but then the top is like a dark color that's faded just to give a little more balance because I didn't want everything to be super stark white or anything like that. And then I got this coffee table from Life and Death, an emphasis on coffee table because I always pictured it or thought of it as an end table, but it actually in the catalog is coded as a coffee table. It's tagged out as a coffee table. So that is a coffee table. You need a small coffee table. Life and Death, y'all. Life and Death. I've always used it as an end table, but it is a coffee table. I'm going to say it 6 times, y'all. But that was like a revelation to me. I don't know why it was so exciting at the time, but it was. And I've usually always done like the tiny living, and then we have the round one from high school years that's small, and we have a few other options. But now we can add that to the mix for coffee tables. Now, for this bedroom space, I ended up putting this bed with the skulls and flowers. That was a really fun and interesting decision because I wanted to go with the stripy look on the other one, but we had the floral wallpaper. And someone said that their trans friends would love that bedding with the skulls and the flowers. And I was like, well, I have to use it now. So that is a note to your friends. If you're watching this video, tag them in the video, send them the video, let them know that I did that for them. That was for them. So that is why I chose that bed because I know that the bed is not super cottage energy necessarily with that, but it was cute. It was cute. Now, I did put the trans flag in the bedroom. I was saying how that it's funny the trans flag is not cottagecore energy, but then I remembered in the recent update we got the Pride collection, and in the collection we have the tapestry. I was like, this is perfect. So we have the trans tapestry in the bedroom. So we do get a trans flag, and it is a little bit more cottage energy with it being the tapestry as opposed to just the big flag on the wall. So that was a really fun little nod to that. Now I'm putting the Cozy Kitsch cabinets in here because I wanted something that was a dedicated book space of some sort. And a bookcase wasn't going to vibe there. It was going to be too clunky and big. I didn't like the way it looked. So I used these cabinets. I know it's more mid-century modern kind of vibes, but it's still really cute. It's pink. It was the perfect color. I was like, I have to use it. I put books on top of it. So it's a vibe. It worked out pretty well. And then I wanted to put this little half wall over by the kitchen by the front door because I would think it's a little weird to walk into a house and the front door be right next to a fridge, but I thought the half wall made it a little bit easier to use it and justify it. It doesn't make it seem as awkward. It's just more of like a defined entryway. So I thought that worked really well. And so now we're just starting to like clutter up some of the space. I'm pulling a lot of stuff from cottage living, a lot of flowers, a lot of plants went into this. And now we're getting to the kitchen, which all know is my favorite part of the house to clutter. I love it. I love it so much. And we have the kitchen clutter kit, which actually has a lot of pink and blue swatches on all of the stuff that came with that. So that worked perfectly for this and some of the things that I used. I didn't want to use more of the modern looking stuff. I mainly pulled like the scale. I pulled the little timer, the oven mitts. Now, I did put this caddy, which was another debacle in the stream. So I could not make up my mind if I wanted pink or blue. I could not make up my mind at all. So I put a poll. I left it to y'all. I left it to all of you to choose on the stream which one, and y'all left me with a tie. So I had to be the tiebreaker, which I don't like doing. I don't like being that because then I knew at that point half of the people who voted were going to be unhappy with my selection. So I ultimately chose pink, and that was because the blue clashed with the color on the little armchair that's next to it in the living space. I wanted to use the blue. I like the blue better for the overall kitchen, but I had to go with pink because it just looked better with the flow from the living room to the kitchen area. But I thought that was a cute vibe to have a little cricket in the kitchen for extra storage space, because we obviously didn't have enough room for like an actual island or peninsula to be in the kitchen. So that's a hack, y'all. For these tiny homes, you can actually use that as an island, and it fits okay. Like, your sim is going to have to always go around it to get to the dining space, but that's not a problem. They can still access everywhere in the house. So not a big deal, but I think it's cute to incorporate this, and it kind of gives some cottage energy. I know it has the brown top on it, but we also have the brown shelf by the door. I just really wanted to use the Pride Collection stuff, so I overlooked it for that, and so I thought if I could do it for that, I can do it for the kitchen island, because I want a kitchen island just for a little extra pizzazz in this house. Now I'm just going through and still I'm putting some more clutter in the kitchen right now, but I am going through and cluttering up, putting some pictures, some flowers, and decor everywhere. I put this radiator over by the dining area because it's like its own little nook off of the living space. The whole living space has the fireplace, and then I thought maybe in this little corner over here, they could have a little bit of a heating source just in case. And so that was the vibe I thought for that. I put the little fig tree there. And then that's the olive tree. I put the olive tree there, and then I have the wall sconces with the picture that I love from cottage living in this space over by the dining table. And then I put some lighting in. I have to put the plant light. I warmed the lighting up because it's usually a cool lighting, and now you can see how the tone completely changes on the inside whenever I got rid of the recessed lighting. I always just put that down for building, and then once I get to the point where I add in actual lights I want to use in the build, then it like really transforms the space. I used a lot of the candle wall sconces in this area because I thought that lent to the vibes, and then I put these like little lantern vibes that were hanging from the ceiling. So that, I think, completely transformed it with the lighting. It just really set the mood a bit more with the warm tones, even though we used a lot of white cream colors everywhere. I put the little clock here over the chair because I wanted it to be visible from everywhere in the house. I thought it was a nice little detail. And then I remembered we have the phone. We have that phone from the event rewards that we had recently. And so I was like, I have to put this because we get a pink and a blue swatch for that. So I definitely put this little phone in here, and it brought me back all the nostalgia living in the 90s. Y'all know, if you know, you know. And now we're getting to the bathroom, where I chose this like really pretty like pink and blue color scheme. I went back and forth a lot with the toilet and sink on like if I wanted the toilet to be pink and the sink be blue, or the toilet be blue and whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Just the combination of the colors in here. And I went with the Realm of Magic toilet. I like the like shade of blue it is. It's like a grayish hue to it, but it is a light faint blue, which I think is a nod to what we get in the flag. It's not as saturated though, but the sink is blue as well. You just can't see it from here, and the mirror is blue. And then we have a lot of pink tile. I did the pink tone on the metal for the shower, cluttered up some shelves above the toilet just to give it a more lived in look. And then I had to do like a small open shower like this. It is functional. So I did test it. It is okay to use that. And then for the lighting in the bathroom, I went back and forth on this. It looks weird from this angle, but actually from like tab mode, whenever you can see it, like if it was level with how tall you are and walking in, it doesn't look as weird. But I like the cottage living vibe, so I wanted to put those lights in there. And now we're going into the bedroom and starting to clutter that up. I put the little alarm clock that we got from the rewards as well, and then just put a little journal with some specs and some of the perfume. We had this awkward space at the foot of the bed, and I was like wanting to put a shelf there. I wasn't sure which one, and I went with Cozy Bistro just because it's small and it is the perfect size. And I just put some books and some plants there, and then underneath it I ended up putting the trunks from the werewolves pack, and then put some board games on top of that just as like some added storage space for the bedroom. And I thought that lent to the vibes that you could just pull the trunks out if you needed to get something from that, or that could even be your luggage if you wanted to pretend that's how you travel or whatever. And so now I'm getting to pulling some gallery walls. I'm getting to the wall decor more so overall. I put some bags in there. I thought that was a cute little vibe, a little nod to have some extra clutter and grab your bag on your way out of your room. And so I went with the gallery walls from Secret Sanctuary, which was really pretty with the silver vibes. None of the other swatches worked, but that one worked perfectly. And then I wanted to situate the stuff in the bedroom to put a lamp. I just wanted another lighting source other than the nightstand. And so I ended up going with this lamp. I sized it down so it would fit a little bit better. And then I found this cute little lantern vibe with the flowers on it. It actually has flowers on the bottom part of it, which went with the floral wallpaper, the floral bed that we have in there, and just fit the vibes overall for that space and that aesthetic. One of the last things I did and always do, almost always, is the curtains. And so I put the curtains, I got the Cozy Bistro curtains. Cozy Bistro actually has some really cute options for cottagecore energy, and I think that's why they maybe called it Cozy Bistro. But now I'm getting to the outside. I saw the pickup truck. I was like, this lends some cottage energy, and we had a blue swatch, so I was like, why not use the pickup truck? I had no idea at the time what I was going to do with it, but I ended up using it in a fun way, I think, and you'll see that just soon. And then I wanted to do a fenced-in yard. The stone was not a vibe. We were not vibing with it, so I got a suggestion to do a picket fence, which I agreed was a really cute vibe. And so we just went with a nice white picket fence on the back, more the side yard of the space. So I ended up adding a gate, and then I did another little custom stone pathway that winds up and connects to the other stone pathway. This one took a little bit just to figure out how I wanted it to, snake around. But I highly encourage y'all to use the Riviera Retreat stones. And there's one of the two swatches that works really, really well on the curves. And it's the one with that has fewer stones on it. If you ever use this and want it to be like curving the pathway, always use that one, because that one just is a lot more versatile than the one that has the rows with the stones. Doesn't work as easily. And then I added some trees on the lot, which completely like changed the feel of the space instantly outside. I put the little wagon, and then here I'm just trying to figure out like which flowers I wanted to put outside. I love a lot of the cottage living. They have really great options when it comes to debug plants in cottage living. Some of the best, I think, out of all of the DLC we get in The Sims, and that's saying something. So highly recommend Cottage Living. It's one of my favorite packs, I would say, overall for building. And so I went with these blue delphiniums, I think is what they're called. And then I have like the pink rose bushes, and then I put some of the little fox plants, whatever they're called, that are in the corner. I can't remember the names of everything, but we're getting close to the end of the video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show y'all the build. So I built it on this 20 by 15 lot in Hemford on Bagley, and this is the build. It turned out really cute, I think. So obviously you can see that I love landscaping. I think it's really, really cute. And y'all, I have thought of things that I wish I had done, and I did not come in and change it. I'm leaving it. I'm not gonna re-upload it to the gallery like I really want to. I'm calling this is my accomplishment. I finished it in one stream. Let's just be happy with it. And it obviously did not save the terrain paint. There we go. I just had to place it again. That terrain paint bug, they need to fix that. That's just ridiculous at this point. But this is the build now in all its glory. We have the flock of birds over here, and I just thought it would be cute to have the bird bath, the bird house, the bird feeder. So we love birds. And then I put the rocking chairs on this side of the porch specifically so we could watch birds. So that was intentional with that. But then I put the little wishing well over here. Now this one, unfortunately, when you size it up or down, like it keeps that face there. This is the normal size. I don't know why they did that, but I didn't care, which is a big deal for me, because usually I would not put an item that glitches when you size it down. But I wanted this wishing well here because it was pink, and it was like the only pink wishing well that we had, and I really wanted a wishing well. So that is the end of that story. But I ended up putting flowers over here. I did a little landscaping in this weird shape that we get on the back. I do like very much dislike the back. I would like to pull this over, but I was keeping it true to the actual tiny home dimensions, and we were at our max with 64 tiles. I could not do any more. But all I put over here was just like a little foraging table. We have some cute little clutter with that, and then a grill with a space to sit down and eat. And I put a little trash can over here, more landscaping. I like the little tire potter right here. I love the vibes of that. And then for the truck, I put some flowers. We got a request in chat to do flowers. I thought it would be cute to be like, we deliver flowers, or this is part of our business, because we love gardening. That was like the main hobby that I worked on, which is unfortunate because it's broken in the game. But I pictured that we maybe do some business with like doing these arrangements or something. I don't know. I thought it was cute. I put the little mushrooms around it. So now let's go check out the inside. So once you come in the door here, you are met with a lot of pink and blue, which is perfect for this build. We have our cute little living space over here. I think this turned out really well. I love the clutter in here, and I won't be surprised if something did not. Yeah, I already see something that didn't place correctly, I guess because I placed the lot again, but that's okay. I'm gonna let it go. Let it go. I'm gonna let it go. But this is our little kitchen space over here. I put some nice little clutter in the cereal box down here with some cans. I thought it was a cute vibe. And then off of that, we have our dining space. So this is a mood, I feel like. I love little tiny dining spaces like this. And you can see it from this angle, see the lighting. I love these light fixtures for cottages. Then we have our little bathroom right here as you enter. See what I mean? Like, they don't actually look as weird, the lights above the mirror like that. It looks weirder from top down view. But we have our little shower right here, and then our clutter on the shelf. And then off of that is our little bedroom space. So once you come in here, we have the wardrobe. You get ready right here, grab your bag, head out, and then your sleeping area over here at the bed and nightstand. And that's the build, y'all. I mean, it's small, but you can see the flowers on this little light here. That's what I was talking about. They're like little roses. It's cute with the wallpaper. I think it vibes really well with that. But let me know what y'all think about this build. I think it turned out really cute. If you made it to the end of the video, thank y'all so much. I do want to mention one more time that I will be streaming every day this month for the Trevor Project, and I would appreciate it if y'all could come by, even just to support in numbers. You don't have to donate. I definitely don't want people to feel bad for not donating, but if you can, I would greatly appreciate it. I know the Trevor Project greatly appreciates it. And if you want to just join the community, we are a welcoming community here. You are loved. We all stick together. We all take care of one another. We all support one another. If you want to join us in the Discord, where we just chat about other things than Sims, you can join us there. That's linked below. And then I will say that I will be wearing a mullet wig soon in one of my streams, so that'll be fun. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. I know it sounds dorky, but I am so happy that I was able to accomplish a build in a stream. Like, you guys have no idea. Well, maybe you do by now, but you guys have no idea.